Have you ever wondered where Elon Musk's money actually is? I mean, people always say he's the richest person in the world. Today, he's worth more than $1 trillion. Just think about that for a second, $1 trillion. So, does that mean Elon Musk has $1 trillion sitting in a bank account somewhere? Believe it or not, no. In fact, that's one of the biggest misconceptions people have about billionaires. So where is all that money? That's exactly what we're going to answer today. And once you understand it, you'll never look at wealth the same way again, because being worth $1 trillion is completely different from having $1 trillion in cash. Let's break it down in the simplest way possible. So, if Elon Musk doesn't have $1 trillion sitting in a bank account, then where is it? Well, before we answer that, we need to clear up one really important misunderstanding. When you hear that someone is worth $1 trillion, what do you picture? Most people imagine a giant bank account, maybe a huge vault filled with cash, or billions of dollars sitting there, waiting to be spent. Honestly, that's what I used to picture too. But that's not what worth means. Here's an easy way to think about it. Imagine you buy a house for $300,000. A few years later, the value of that house goes up to $500,000. Does that mean the bank suddenly deposited another $200,000 into your account? Of course not. Your bank balance hasn't changed. What changed is the value of something you own. On paper, you're now $200,000 wealthier, but unless you sell the house, you can't walk into a store and spend that extra $200,000. The same idea applies to Elon Musk. Instead of owning a house, he owns pieces of some of the world's most valuable companies. As those companies become more valuable, the value of what he owns goes up too. That's why you sometimes hear headlines saying Elon Musk made billions of dollars in a single day. Did someone transfer billions of dollars into his bank account overnight? No, the value of what he owns simply went up. And that's the key difference. Being rich doesn't always mean having a lot of cash. Sometimes it means owning valuable things that keep becoming even more valuable, and that's exactly where Elon Musk's money starts to make sense. So, if Elon Musk's money isn't sitting in a bank, where is it? The short answer is, it's in the companies he owns. Think of a company like a giant pizza. Now imagine that pizza is cut into millions, even billions, of tiny slices. Each slice represents a small piece of ownership in the company. Those slices are called shares. If you own one share, you own a tiny piece of the company. If you own 1,000,000 shares, you own a much bigger piece. Now imagine you're Elon Musk. Instead of owning just a few slices, he owns a huge portion of the pizza, and that's where most of his wealth comes from. Let's use Tesla as an example. Every day, millions of people buy and sell Tesla shares on the stock market. Some days, people are willing to pay more for those shares. Other days, they're willing to pay less. When more people want to buy Tesla than sell it, the price usually goes up, and when the price goes up, the value of Elon Musk's shares goes up too. Here's the amazing part. Elon doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to sell anything. He doesn't have to receive a paycheck. If the value of Tesla goes up, the value of what he owns goes up too. That's why you might see a headline that says, Elon Musk gained $15 billion today. Did someone hand him a $15 billion check? No. Did $15 billion suddenly appear in his bank account? Not at all. The market simply decided that the shares he already owned were worth more than they were yesterday. Think of it like owning a rare baseball card. Let's say you bought it years ago for $100. Today, Collectors are willing to pay $10,000 for that same card. Are you suddenly holding $10,000 in cash? No. You still have the card. The only difference is that if you decided to sell it today, someone might be willing to pay you much more than before. That's exactly how Elon Musk's wealth works. His money isn't stacked in a vault somewhere. It's tied to the value of the businesses he owns. And as those businesses become more valuable, so does he. At this point, you might be thinking, if Elon Musk's shares are worth so much, why doesn't he just sell them? It's a fair question. After all, if you owned something worth $1 trillion, wouldn't you just cash out? Well, not so fast. Let's go back to our pizza example. Imagine you own a pizza shop. Business is booming. Customers love your pizza. Every year, your shop becomes more valuable. Now imagine someone says, "Why don't you just sell the whole business?" You could, but once you sell it, it's no longer yours. You don't get to make the decisions anymore. You don't get to enjoy any future growth. The same idea applies to Elon Musk. His shares don't just represent money, they represent ownership. They give him a say in the companies he built. If he sold all of his shares, he'd be giving up much of that ownership and control. There's another reason, too. Imagine Elon suddenly tried to sell a huge chunk of his Tesla shares all at once. What do you think would happen? People would notice. Some investors might think, why is Elon selling? Does he know something we don't? That could cause other people to start selling too. And when lots of people try to sell at the same time, prices can fall. So selling a massive amount of shares isn't always as simple as pressing a button. But here's the really interesting part. What if Elon needs cash? Does he have to sell his shares? Not necessarily. Very wealthy people can sometimes borrow money using their shares as collateral. Think about it like this. Let's say you own a house that's worth $1 million. You don't have to sell your house just to get money. You might be able to take out a loan using the house as security. You still own the house. You still benefit if it goes up in value. You just borrowed against it. Some billionaires do something similar with the shares they own. That way, they can access cash without selling their ownership. Now, that doesn't mean anyone can do this, and it doesn't mean it's risk-free, but it helps explain why someone can be incredibly wealthy without constantly selling the very thing that made them rich in the first place. And honestly, I think this is where most people misunderstand what being rich actually means. The rich don't become rich because they have a lot of cash. They become rich because they own things that become more valuable over time. And now you know. Money isn't as complicated as it seems.